Today we're going to go through literal equations. So literal equations just have multiple variables. A lot of times they are formulas, and we're trying to get one of those variables by itself. So a lot of times we can't combine different things because there's variables instead of numbers. So on number one, we're trying to get x by itself. And this one only has one variable, it's just x. So we're going to add or subtract first. So in this case, we need to subtract 5. So we get 2x equals 2. And then we're going to divide by 2. So x equals 1. Right? And we're going to treat number 2 exactly the same. But on this one, we only have variables. We don't have any numbers at all. So over here, we said that we had to subtract 5 first because it was being added to our x term. So in this case, we're going to have to subtract c first because it's being added to our x term. So we're going to subtract c on both sides. So rx equals, and then we just combine these, but these aren't like terms, so we just write y minus c. Right? Then we're trying to get rid of the 2. Since it was 2 times x, we divided by 2. Over here, we have r times x, so we're going to divide by r. So x is y minus c over r. All right, so when we're going through these, we think about what are we trying to isolate? What is keeping that variable from being isolated? And what opposite operation can we perform to get that variable isolated? And what order do these need to happen in? Right? These are not things that you have to write down each time, but it's things you need to think through for each problem. So on number one, we're trying to solve for L. So we know what we're trying to isolate. We need to look at what is keeping that from being isolated. So we have a 2 times L and we have a plus 2W. So those are the two things we need to get rid of. Right? Then we need to know what opposite operation we need to perform and in what order. So we always need to get rid of the positive or negative first, the plus or minus, and then get rid of the division. Right? So now we have a plan for what we're going to do. So we're going to subtract the 2W first, so that we have 2L equals P minus 2W. We can't combine these because they're not like terms. And then this is 2 times L. So we're going to divide both sides by 2. So we get P minus 2W over 2. So sometimes they will leave it like this, and sometimes they will simplify it further. Sometimes they'll separate our fractions. This is the same as P over 2 minus 2W over 2. We just separate it into 2 separate fractions and simplify each fraction separately. So this is the same as 1/2 P, and 2 over 2 is just 1W. So they could write it any of these 3 ways. They all mean the same thing. They're all equal. It just depends. If it's multiple choice, they could write it a different way. All right, on number 2, we're trying to solve for B. We need to know what is in the way of B being by itself. So we have a 2, we have a minus 7, and we have a dividing by P. So we're going to do the opposite operations to get this all to the other side. So the first thing we're going to get rid of is this dividing by P. So we're going to multiply by P on both sides so that that cancels out. And we're left with 2B minus 7 equals 8P. Then we need to add our 7. So 2B equals 8P plus 7. These are not like terms, so we can't combine them. And then we're going to divide everything by 2. So B is 8P plus 7 over 2. But again, they could separate them into 8P over 2 plus 7 over 2. Separate your fractions and simplify it. 8 over 2 is just 4P plus 7 over 2. Right, number 3, we're going to use this one a lot, 3 and 4, in the upcoming units when we're trying to graph linear equations. We need to solve for y. So here we're going to try to get y by itself. So we're going to subtract 4x, since that's being added to our y term. So we get 8 minus 4x. We're going to divide everything by 2. So remember, this is the same as 8/2 minus 4/2x. In this case, they will most definitely simplify it. They will not leave it all as one fraction because we can't graph it the way it is right there. So we need to separate it. 8/2 is 4 and 4/2 is 2. So we would write it as y equals 4 minus 2x, or y equals negative 2x plus 4. On number 4, we're trying to get y by itself. So right now we have a minus 5x. So we're going to add 5x to the other side. We actually have an x on that right side that we're going to combine it with. So we get plus 8x. And then this is negative 1 times y. So we're going to divide everything by negative 1. And when we do that, all the signs flip. So we get negative 10 minus 8x. Right, and number 5, we're solving for r. All right, so we have 1/3 times pi times r squared times h. There's a lot of multiplication in here, so let's get rid of some of that first. We're going to ignore the fraction for a minute. We'll deal with that in a second. This is pi times r squared times h. So to get rid of times, we're going to divide by pi and h. We're going to do the opposite operation. So those cancel out and we're left with 1/3 r squared. And then to get rid of a fraction, we're going to use the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply by 3/1 on both sides. So we get r squared equals 3b over, you can put 1 pi h. So remember the 1 is kind of unnecessary. And then we need to get rid of the squared. So the opposite of squaring something is taking the square root. When you take the square root, the square and the square root cancel, and you're just left with r. So we have r equals the square root of 3b over pi h.